Om Sarvopanishad Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana Parthavatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Maha. The Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are on the verse 54 of the second chapter. That is called the person of steady wisdom, Sthita Prajna. The last time we had led up to this state of consciousness. What exactly is a person of steady wisdom? I'll just kind of refresh some of the things and then we can go towards the characteristics of a person of steady wisdom. The 53 is when your mind that has become bewildered by hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, all these, as well as also listening to diverse opinions and facts. After that, when your mind will become unshakable and steadfast, you will attain yoga that arises from clarity. What do you mean yoga? You will attain yoga means samadhi. As Patanjali says, Yog Samadho. And this Shrutivi Pratipannate, when the mind has become bewildered by all hearing, etc., and then it attains stability, it becomes kind of unshakable. It is then when you attain yoga. Now, the rest of the verses will give us an idea of what exactly the person of steady wisdom. We have a feeling that, yeah, he's a Vedantist, he can do anything and he does everything and that can be No. The person is under kind of strict laws of yoga. Externally, that person may look like, internally, that person is completely different. Because this state of yoga is the highest possible experience. I'm not talking about this kind of seeing something or hearing something and all these things. These things are totally dismissed as of having no consequence. What we are talking about is the mind. When the mind becomes luminous, clear, you will attain yoga. So this knowledge, when you have that peak experience in the mind, what happens after that? Internally, there are 7 stages. 7 stages of what? Of knowledge. The more you become absorbed in that state, the more these 7 stages of knowledge becomes manifest. So, in the Yoga Sutras, it is called Vivek Khyati. The highest possible, you can say, when the person can see the finite merging in the infinite consciousness, that is called Viveka Khyati. And then what happens to that person? That person attains another kind of automatic or inevitable stage. It's called the Dharma Mega Samadhi. That is the samadhi of cloud of virtues. That person becomes virtuous. And not only for himself or herself, but for the world. That person becomes a blessing. And wherever that person goes, that person spreads joy and grace and blessings, etc. So, the first stage of knowledge, Patanjali talks about tasya sapta bhumi pranta, tasya saptada pranta bhumi, he's saying. So, knowledge comes in 7 stages, these knowledge. The first is, what has to be known is known. There is no doubt at all. Everything has a kind of a, like this, everything has an aspect of knowledge and an aspect of ignorance. I cannot say that I know this thing completely. There is no person in the world who can say, I know this thing completely. I know this thing completely. There will always be a trace of non-knowledge. The first stage of this knowledge of this person is, what has to be known is known. Period. Yeah. It's a tremendous, there is no agneya vastu, gneya, it is known. Okay. Second is, there will be an end to all pain and suffering. All pain and suffering is due to, again, non-knowledge or limitedness or a sense of individuality. That is completely gone. There is no more pain or suffering or anxiety, etc., whatever. It's only in the state of ignorance or non-knowledge where you suffer all these things. And that's why the Buddha kept on saying that even after he attained certain stages of spiritual consciousness, he wasn't really satisfied. He strove again. And then he did it on his own. He was learning from the others, Kalarama, Alaraka, and all these teachers. But then he broke away from them and decided to go at it alone. And this must be what he had experienced, the absence of suffering and pain. Because he used to insist on sarvam dukkham dukkham. Everything is painful, painful, painful. And you come to a stage where you're free from pain. This is the second stage of knowledge. The third is, we have 2 types of knowledge. One is the particular, I know this, or I don't know this. And there's something called a general knowledge, not GK, of course. But the very foundation of that knowledge, you become omniscient. You become all-knowing. In this stage, the third stage, you become all-knowing. Well, it's kind of interesting, because these are the transformations that take place as the person is getting more and more absorbed in this state of clarity, where consciousness shines by itself. It does not anymore need the mind or the senses or the body. It can exist as it is. We've forgotten that fact. That's a problem. Then I have to do this or that, or that's the end of work. End of all kinds of activity or responsibility, anything. There is nothing in this world that you need to do or the world needs to do something for you. Nothing. So that's the end of work. That is the very foundation of the mind, called the inner instrument, antakaran, has become kind of loosened. And that's the reason why the sense of doing, there was in Santa Barbara some days ago, so one nun is asking me, what did you do the whole day? I was in the monastery. What did you do the whole day? I said, that's a problem with you people. Why do, everything do? Why can't you just be? So, they want to know what I was doing. Well, this is the ordinary idea of, you have to exist, you have to do. No, you don't have to do. You have to just be. That is the fourth stage of Ragat. When that antakaran, that is the inner instrument, has become kind of loosened, and as it becomes loosened, it now kind of melts. Where does it melt? Well, you see, everything has a cause and has an effect, and the cause becomes the effect, and the effect then in turn becomes a cause. And that's the whole story of this world. You cannot say this is the cause of this. It might have multiple causes. But the clay is turned into a pot. We don't see the clay, we see the pot. The cause of the pot is the clay. And when we come to this is called, it resolves back into its causes. In the Karanda Chitta resolves back into its causes. No more is there any kind of disturbance, either from this life or on the previous life's impressions, nothing. Okay. Then what happens? That inner instrument, antakaran, comes to the end of itself. It's like a stone that's rolled down a mountain or a hill. That's the illustration given. The stone by itself cannot walk up this or climb up the mountain. It is forever gone. So that is the complete freedom of the mind stuff. So after the chitta has kind of melted away, and then everything has come out like a stone coming down. Then what happens is that person then becomes established in the self. Simple as that. It is only then can you experience the self as it is, the Atman as it is, not before. There will always be a kind of a veil or a kind of a screen of the mind. But once the mind has been resolved, the mind stuff, everything becomes clear. What happens is, this is called the Viveka Khyati, the knowledge of the distinction between finite consciousness and the infinite consciousness. And this is, so as you know, it becomes a Dharma Mega Samadhi, the cloud of, this is the person who has become established in the self. And this, from the 54th to the 72 verses, the characteristics of this person has been spoken of. So the question, so Sri Krishna, after leading up to this, kind of must have paused for a while. So Arjuna asked, 54, Sthita pragnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadi kim prabhaseta kimasita vrajeta kim. O Keshava, O Krishna. He's using the word Krishna because he's just kind of telling him that you are the internal ruler. You know. What is the description of a person of steady wisdom who is self-absorbed? How does that person of steady wisdom speak? How does that person sit? How does that person move about? So these are the 4 questions that Arjuna places before. So first is, there are 2, you can say, parts of this verse. One is the person who has become absorbed in the state we just mentioned, in those 7, you can say, stages of knowledge. When that person is absorbed in that, in the Atman. And then when that person emerges from that state, what are the characteristics? So that person, when he or she emerges from that state, what happens is he or she functions according to certain old habits externally, but internally they are different. So here he says, that person of steady wisdom. The translation is kind of steady wisdom. Prajna, yes, is you can, but it's the highest knowledge, prajna. And sthita is to be still or steady or immovable. Our knowledge is bifurcated, trifurcated, and fragmented in hundreds of things. Conscious, subconscious, and all these various layers, pre-conscious, conditioned conscious, and unconscious. The whole thing is kind of, our knowledge is not unitary. This person, when he gets into that state, that person's knowledge becomes unitary. That's why he's saying, established in the highest wisdom. And what is that highest wisdom? The highest wisdom is that, yes, I am that Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. That is the highest wisdom. What? I am the cosmos. That will be much better if I can. I am the universe. Not in a kind of a perfunctory way. Yeah, I am the universe. We are the world and we are the universe. No. That person experiences that consciousness of the universe there. And then, as I said, as he emerges out, what happens? Now, it's very difficult to see the inner dynamics of this thing. One time, Sri Ramakrishna, he saw within himself knowledge which was luminous. It was filled him inside. That is after he obtains a vision of the Kali. His first vision of Kali was, he tried to take that sword and cut his throat because he wasn't getting the vision of Kali. So he immediately kind of went into a swoon. And he says, I experienced an ocean of light. And waves from all directions were coming towards me. And then they overwhelmed me and I was taken down in the ocean of light. I was panting. And what he experienced there, we do not know. But even the author of the great master says we do not know. But when he emerged out, he was constantly saying, Mother, 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 Mother. So he had the experience of the Mother as universal consciousness. So, once again, what is the description of a person of steady wisdom or established in the highest wisdom who is absorbed in that knowledge? You see, it becomes very difficult. When you are absorbed in that knowledge, why do you want to come out? But you emerge out. There are two stages. One is a samadhi stage. One is called a vyutthana stage. Certain old impressions which have formed this body and mind, they are still they become activated. It's called prarabdha karma. They bring your consciousness outside. So what happens? Is that the state of ignorance? No. He sees that same consciousness inside as well as outside. That person's knowledge is established. This coming out of the state of samadhi does not make any difference to that person. But the person functions. We see Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda and all these great souls. They used to eat like us and they used to sleep also like us at times, and And they used to walk about like us and sit. So you've got to explain these two states of knowledge. That person, when he's sitting, standing, walking, talking, all that person's knowledge has not diminished in any way. So the word uses later on, sthita dhi in the second line is sthita, established dhi. Dhi is the purified form of intelligence. We can generally say, what is the intellect? It's called buddhi. Okay, that which kind of gives us the knowledge, that dhi which gives us the knowledge, buddh, to know. But here it's only called buddhi, dhi. So all our scriptures, most of our prayers are not praying for anything, but like even for instance the Gayatri mantra, it prays for dhiyo yo na prachodayat. May my dhi, may my intelligence be awakened. We do not say, I want to go to heaven, I want to go here. No, you awaken. You pray for that awakened intelligence. So dhi is that. Where is it located? Now that is the problem. You see what happens is, for all practical purposes, the dhi is beyond your individuality. Where is the sense of individuality? It is generally it's somewhere here. You feel it more here towards the chest. And that's the reason why they say you meditate on the chosen ideal here in the heart. So as you keep on meditating, your individuality gets merged in the chosen ideal, and the chosen ideal merges in the dhi. Okay? Not ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. Ghee. But it is dhi. So it is here. And once you have this awakened, then you get the vision of your individual self, your jivatman, your individual soul, your soul. And it's only after the vision or the experience of your individual soul can you proceed further. It's not the other way around. So this has to be awakened. Your dhi has to be awakened. That's the reason why they say, Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur Vare. It's praying to that, the glorious sun which illumines the whole world, the three Bhur and Bhuva and Swa, the earth and the intermediate regions and the heaven. So that sun of knowledge is there within us. That is external. This is internal. And dhi is likened to that sun. Okay? Self-luminous. So much for this verse. We'll go to the next verse. All these verses are kind of one rolls into the other. So certain things which I may not have explained in this will be taken up later on. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha 55. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmannevatmanatushta sthita pragnastadutchate. Yeah. O Arjuna, that is Partha, O son of Pritha. When one fully renounces all the desires that have entered the mind and remains satisfied in the Atman alone, then that person is called a person of steady wisdom. Yeah. So, Prajahati. Jahati means throughout. Okay, throughout. So, I said, okay. How does one throw out? Things have entered into your mind and you got to throw it out. But how do you do that? You do it through knowledge. It reminds me of a story, kind of humorous illustration of Swami Vivekananda. There was an Arab, Bedouin, travels down with the caravans. So desert nights are cold. So his camel, he puts his nose in the tent. So the Arab shouts, "What are you doing? Get out. It's cold outside. I just want to keep my nose warm." Okay. So let me. So okay, fine. Yeah. After a while, he sees he's put the whole head inside. Well, you see, my ears are, feeling that cold, eyes also. So you don't have to bother. You are lying down, and my head is on top, so you won't have to. Besides, it will keep you also warmer. So he said, "Okay, fine." He put his head, and the Arab, he falls asleep. After a while, he wakes up. The camel has pushed in his neck. "Hey, what's this?" "Well, I'm not disturbing your sleep in any way. You go to sleep. I just want to there's place enough on top so I can put my neck also inside." So the Arab was grumbling, and he finally falls into a fitful sleep. He wakes up again and he sees the front part of the camel has entered the tent. "I told you not to get in." The camel says, "Now that I am already half in, either you stay with me or you get out. I'll get in." So things enter into our mind in a very, very innocent way. You get inside. And slowly, there. And then you want to stay here, get out. It's my place. So these things have entered into the mind. And it just can't separate itself. This is the desire. So what is desire? Anything that makes the mind go outwards and seek things to fulfill. That is a desire. When the mind gets established in the self, there's nothing to be done here. Okay, I'm fully satisfied. And that's a reason why the words used, like in the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, Apta Kama, that person has attained all his desires. Atma Kama, that person's desires are in the Atman. And Akama, without desires. Or we have Purna Kama, if his desires are complete. Sri Ramakrishna will say, "When I saw the Divine Mother's beauty, all other worldly beauty paled in insignificance." That's what it is. When Sri Ramakrishna saw the Divine Mother as Shodashi, that is the goddess of 16-year-old kind of Shodashi. So beautiful. What else are they going to look for now? He's seen the best of the best. So here it is. Later on also, the Lord will talk about Yo Anta Jyoti Anta Sukha Anta Rama. One whose joy is within, one whose happiness is within, one whose light is within, that is a yogi. Simple as that. So what will that person do? Well, that person goes through the motions, don't worry. So Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, what is the Bhagavan? We say, now this person is a Bhagavan, that person is claiming to be a Bhagavan, that is a Bhagavan. Everyone is a kind of a Bhagavan. Bhagavan is one who has the 6 powers Bhaga, Shannama Bhaga. That is the 6 powers of omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, all these things. That is called. Then the Vishnu Purana says, Utpatthim pralayam chaiva bhutanam agatim gati. One who knows the utpatti, the birth and the death of all beings in this universe, not only mine. God doesn't see me, what I'm doing, I'm struggling. Oh, He knows everything. So, Utpatthim and Pralayam Shaiva, Bhutanam, and Agatim, what is one person's, you can say, direction? What is one person's attainment, or what is that person's non-attainment? And Veti Sarveshu Bhuteshu, and that person, God, that is Bhagavan, he knows, she knows, there's no kind of gender there, how much of knowledge a person has and how much ignorance that person has. I am so knowledgeable. I know what. So, God knows all your past lives and also will know your future lives. I don't know my present life also, but God knows. Yeah. At times, I am so saintly. At times when I go out and become like a most ordinary consciousness. What is this? God knows. He's saying, hey, He's trying to kid me. Yeah. So, that being who knows this is called the Bhagavan. That's why it's the Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, that God has said this. So he say, when one fully renounces all the desires that have entered the mind and remains satisfied in the self alone. You see what happens at times, people who are crazy or insane in an asylum, they have no desires, they are in a different world altogether. Yeah, all our desires have gone away. See, they are either stupefied or, the brain has become kind of dull or dead or something like that. People in coma, people in a kind of induced state. They don't have any desires. Have they gone away? No, that's one part of the story. The second part is Atmani eva Atmanata. That person is satisfied only in the self, the Atman. That's the second part of the story. You give up this and what do? Well, you get inside. And you get inside and are fully satisfied. You, not only, what is satisfaction? These are just words. You become the universe. You are the universe, you understand. What can anybody give me? Or what can ever compliment me? What can satisfy me? There is no absence of anything. There is no kind of vacuum. I am everything. What can take this feeling away? So that person is established in that self, that reality. When this is the case, then it's called Sthita Prajna Tadu. It's called the person of established wisdom. Yeah. If you are wise and you still run about like, I want this, I want that, like children. The children cannot stay quiet. No? They'll play with this toy and after some time they'll discard it. They will get something else. All the time they're running about. That's a state of the mind, immature mind. As that mind matures and matures, keep quiet. Keep quiet. Societies are like that, running after this and running after that. I want this, I want that. I'll break this, I'll break that. I'll kill you, I'll bang you. The immature societies. When you've stopped all that, then you know there's some wisdom coming now in your brain. You will be quiet. You will lead the other people through your own calmness, your own strength, your own wisdom. So that's the reason why Sthita Prajnas Taduchyate. That person is called a person whose wisdom has become established. You see, what happens is, these societies are just passing phases of humanity. We tried plenty of, you can say, models how to best manifest your potential. Every individual is a potential soul that needs to be manifested. So if you have a society that's closed, you will never be able to do that. Kind of, whether it's a secular society or a non-secular society. So that has to be taken care of. Of course, this Sunday I'm going to speak on knowledge, bondage and ignorance. Bondage and freedom. So I'll dwell on that later. Sunday. The 56th is Dukkeshu Vigna Mana Sukeshu Vigata Spriha Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Sthita Dirmuniruchyate. Yeah. Sthita Di. And there's another qualification that's now put. It's called a Muni. What's a Muni? Muni is translated as a sage. Well, actually it is Mananat Manana Shila Muni. That is a person who is thoughtful, who's kind of contemplative, is called the Muni. It's not, he has taken a vow of silence. When a person's mind is full of knowledge, that person does not need to speak like me. See, you're talking. So, really, when you experience something very deep inside, say love or something like that, you feel so full. You don't need to talk. You don't need to shout. You don't need to be disturbed. There are times in the day when you just want to be left alone. And people should respect that. That person wants to be left alone quietly. The mind is settling down. Hey, come down, let's go. You're there. Hey. The world is like that. So, this person of steady wisdom is so absorbed within himself or herself that that person becomes quiet outside. So, generally they say, we take the vow of silence, mauna. No, that's part of a spiritual discipline. At least some part of the day should be kept for silence. It conserves your psychic energy and makes you feel better. Try it out. But it shouldn't be like, yes, I've taken the vow of silence, mauna, so now I'll keep on thinking. No. You are so absorbed in the thought of God or thought of reality, you don't need to talk. You automatically become quiet. That's right. So he's saying, that person is called a person of steady wisdom when the mind is unperturbed in sorrow, is free from longings for delights, and has gone beyond attachment, fear, and anger. There. So this is the characteristics of this person's mind. So, there are two things that guide, and all psychology and everything is talking about something that draws you out and something that makes you averse to that. So this likes and dislike, attachment and aversion, joy and sorrow, pain and pleasure, these things. So we go towards something that gives us joy, and obviously, what we like and what we desire and what we hope, and we go towards that. And the opposite thing repels us. This is the duality that guides each and every phenomena in this world. And that's why we say, I want to go to heaven. It's nothing new. You will want to go to heaven because your mind seeks that. You say, does anybody say, I want to go to hell? No. Others will say, you go to hell. So, these are the characters. In fact, Shankaracharya in his Brahma Sutra, the introduction, saying, even a cow, if you take some green grass, you fodder, and it will come towards you. You raise a stick, and it will run away. Yeah. So, even people, they are attracted towards gentle behavior, towards knowledge, and all these things. So, and they are repelled by uproarious people with raised swords and sticks. Uncultured people, you are repelled. So he makes a case that it's the same. It's like the cow that is attracted and repulsed by things. The human being also, there is a kind of commonality there. There's nothing special about likes and dislikes. It is there in every phenomena. This person has taken himself or herself away from these two forces that either draw you out or draw you in, that pravritti and nivritti, circling outwards and circling inwards. These are the two forces that guide the mind. I want to sit down quietly, I want to meditate, and suddenly one thought comes, there, you're gone out. After a while, I went down to the Arctic Circle and came back. Yeah. So these forces, these factors also guide the mind and all the emotions and everything. So the person of steady wisdom is when the mind is unperturbed in sorrow, it is free from longing for delights, and has gone beyond attachment, fear, and anger. So here, we've had a long, very long evolution, very, very long. We think we are new here. There's nothing new. You have been here many times. This world has been recycled many times and has come back. We've got a long history. And in that long history of ours, we had picked up certain survival skills. Anger, hatred, jealousy, and this and that, violence, because you need to survive. And because you survived somewhere, you are here today. So all that baggage that we had collected over and over again, millions of years, well, that story is written down in your genes. The body has not forgotten it. No, sir. It has marked each and every change that you had ever undergone. And the mind also remembers everything. So there is a genetic memory, and over that there's a karmic memory, the memory of karma. Your mind also remembers each and everything that you have done and gone and said and shouted and yelled and claimed and everything. Yes. So these two memories are there. They impel you to do this. Avoid things or become attracted to certain things. You're guided by your memory. You're like a kind of a tool in the hands of memory, because that memory has been rolling down for millions of years. It's not going to go away so easily. You say, no, I don't want this. Who are you? Get out. We'll make our way inside. All these years, we had a full play of these things. Today you're saying, I don't want you. No. Suddenly you think you are going to meditate on God. How? And you are going to leave us out of the picture? No. They'll pull you out of your meditation. Come out here. Be with us. It's no. Now it's time for spirituality and divinity and the self and the absolute self. What is this nonsense, all these things? No. So that is an old struggle that we undergo. Part of us wants to get into divinity and spirituality and all this that is good and great, and that old baggage is tugging at us. This person has become free from Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha. That is, he has gone beyond attachment, fear and anger and the rest of the old emotions. They are instinctive, Here, part of the brain is just an old reptilian brain. Old. And you've covered it with a few layers and think that I'm a human being. Oh, really? You are a reptile there out there behind, underneath all these things. The animal brain and the human brain also. We have grown. So that old tendencies are still there. So a person, Vita, he or she has discarded all this fear and this anger and attachments. And that person on the conscious plane, he is not impelled by let's have a kind of a small party. Let's go for the party. He's repelled by certain things. No, that person is still. This is the sign of knowledge. Then when the thalrum of, you can say, bondages that have been holding you for all these years, they have gone, you are free. This knowledge is in every person. And that's why they say that there is something called avarana, the covering of knowledge. In Vedanta, avarana shakti and vikshepa shakti. Avarana is the power that covers knowledge, and after covering, it kind of disperses that. Vikshepa throws it out. So the moment knowledge is covered, it gives a different kind of surface, you can say, contours, and you are deluded by this. You do not know. There was one time, there was a friend of mine. So we were in that Vedanta college and we are studying, and you have to get up at 3:30 in the morning and go to the temple and meditate and this and that. And my friend was a little ill, so he said, I want to go out there. I want to have a bath early in the morning and go to that temple. So I'll sit down here. He sat on the bed. He was meditating. So the principal, Swami, he came and he takes a round and he says, yeah, what are you doing here? No, I'm not feeling well. Well, you get up. Even if you're not feeling well, go to the temple. And it was winter and he had covered himself with blankets and this and that, and sitting down and trying to meditate. So he mumbles and grumbles and all, he gets out and then he goes out. So the principal, Maharaj Swami, he thought maybe this guy will try to do it again. So next day again he goes to his room. And we have a kind of common room, 5 or 6 of us in one room. So he came and seen my friend again sitting down with a blanket around it. I told you to go out there. And there's no response. And then the principal Maharaj, he pushes my friend. And what falls off? Only a couple of pillows and bolsters. You played a trick on him. Well, You cover yourself up and something else emerges. So this knowledge which is there within us is kind of covered by all these memories, old memories. And memories, Western psychology has still to arrive at many of the things that the yogis have already arrived. It's kind of, they're still kind of tottering steps. Memory is very fluid. These things are completely separate, but it will join them together and give a third kind of thing. When you're dreaming an elephant is sitting down in an airplane. Incongruous, apparently, but the memory has kind of played tricks. You've forgotten some things, but the mind confabulates, puts things, makes up things. One person has seen a kind of accident, and apart from that, there are other 10 people who have seen that same accident. There are 10 different versions of what exactly happened. So, what is the mind? I've seen it. Yeah, you really seen it? Are you sure? Your account contradicts with the other. So, the memory itself is very fluid underneath. So, you see the subconscious, the memories in the subconscious. The subconscious is a very dynamic area. It's subconscious because consciousness is there. It's a seat of creativity and art and every literature and everything has come from there. But it has formed, reformed, and these impressions are, you can say, melded together, broken together. It has a kind of a mind of its own, as it were. So, yeah, that memory that has covered that knowledge, and it's giving a kind of a different form to that covering. We'll stop here for today. I think it was enough for today. We have 5 minutes more if you have any questions. Before we can, you see, one thing is, we're talking about this, is that purified form of intellect. Externally, what actually diminishes that? We spoke about this attachment and aversion, that really kind of corrupts that intellect. The diseases, when you're very sick, your body's in pain, your intelligence goes out. The sense of pride, egotism, yeah, I, me, that also diminishes egoism, that diminishes knowledge. And excessive work, constantly you become dull in your head. Yeah. So repetitive work, constant repetitive work cuts intelligence. So these are the things that one needs to become aware. What you can say shreds the intellect. These are the things. If you can take these, then what happens during meditation, the power that you derive from meditation, the real intelligence grows when you repeat the name of God and you meditate and prayer and all these things. Okay? Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.